Hello folks, today is Friday, May 7th, 2021. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. Let's get you guys caught up. First and foremost though, happy Resident Evil Village Day. It's out today. We got it early, I finished it. I like it a lot, I have a lot to say, so we're gonna have a before you buy video out soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But if you're playing it this weekend, have fun. Anyway, let's talk about the news. The first big thing is Sony and a lawsuit. Now, take this all with a grain of salt, just for the fact that big multinational corporations get lawsuits filed against them all the time. But this one is possibly significant and interesting. So this is a class action lawsuit filed against Sony for the fact that they don't allow digital sales of their games anywhere other than on their platform. As a lot of you guys probably remember, the old days you could go on bestbuy.com or Amazon or whatever and buy a digital version of the game where it spits out a code to you and then you go and redeem it on your PlayStation. But Sony has, of course, put the kibosh on that, which is causing problems for a lot of consumers, most notably in this lawsuit, citing that some consumers, depending on where they access these games, the prices have gone up significantly, and Sony has complete and direct control over all pricing with no other involvement from anything else. The lawsuit cites, interestingly enough, that some people, I guess maybe in certain territories or something like that, have ended up, because of this change, having to pay over 175% more for certain games. This and the lawsuit claims it is a monopoly. I'll read the description here. Sony's monopoly allows it to charge super competitive prices for digital PlayStation games, which are significantly higher than their physical counterparts sold in a competitive retail market, and significantly higher than they would be in a competitive retail market for digital games. So this is a actual proposed lawsuit according to VG247, so this might not be like a big massive thing immediately, but I think it lends to an interesting conversation. Would love to hear what you guys think about this. The only thing I will say, because I'm not like a super smart legal person, but I will say this is the case where Sony, because it is their ecosystem and it is digital, they can right now do whatever they want, and that's part of the reason why you've seen the move to all digital on a lot of platforms. It's not just convenience, it's not just evolution of the technology, it's essentially the companies being able to have more directly in their control when they don't deal with retailers. It is interesting. Like I said, I want to hear from you guys in the comments what you think. But in other news, we got a lot of PlayStation news this week, but the next thing is PlayStation working with Discord. They have taken a minority stake investment in Discord after Discord's new round of funding, meaning the headlines where Discord was possibly going to get bought by Microsoft, that fell through. Now it's almost a little bit like the opposite. It's an interesting left turn, but this has probably been in the works for a while. But Sony is working with Discord, and they're already working with some sort of integrations for next year. And I think that is a win. I'd say don't rule out Microsoft still and Xbox still having perfect integration sometime in the future as well. I believe the way this is arranged, it is still likely for more things to happen. Sony didn't just necessarily gobble up Discord just for themselves with the way this works business-wise. But they have been busy, and I feel like the last couple of months, it's been like we've had a constant stream of Microsoft and Xbox news to talk about, and now it is very much Sony's turn. They're also apparently already working on revamping the PlayStation 5. There is a report from Digitimes and Video Games Chronicle who kind of breaks it down interestingly, where they are changing some semiconductor stuff with production to ramp up in the second and third quarter of next year. Don't get it twisted though. The way this looks, the way the smart people are deciphering this, it might not necessarily mean a complete console overhaul or like physical redesign just yet. Just some efficiency's sake type stuff, which I still think is insane that they're even, I know the way it works, it has to, but the fact that still so many consumers don't have their hands on a PlayStation console that want one, hey, what do I know? Let's talk some inside baseball too. Man, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but the Epic Games versus Apple lawsuit has been going down this week. Quite publicly so. So this is, of course, the big thing with Epic and Apple and the debate of closed wall ecosystems and app stores and stuff like that. It's a little more confusing to explain, but because of the way courts work and the way documents are laid out and information about these companies are laid out, we've got some interesting tidbits if you really like the nitty-gritty workings of business stuff. I linked some great resources in the description that kind of do a way better job of explaining a lot of this stuff, so definitely check those out. But the couple of takeaways are pretty nuts. The first is that apparently potential for a lot of new characters to come to Fortnite, like wild, weird stuff, including Snake Plissken from Escape from New York, John McClane, Samus from Metroid, Lady Gaga, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Wild. I'm curious to see if all of these actually play out, but still pretty weird. Also, the fact that we know now that Fortnite has made $9 billion in 2 years. We also know that they are still operating the Epic Game Store on PC at a loss. They're putting investment into it for years, hoping down the line in a couple of years that it will bring in a bunch of cash for them, which is how that stuff usually goes, but still, hearing it, wow. Fortnite on PlayStation 4 is the biggest source of Fortnite revenue, which is crazy, also suggesting that it might have the highest player counts at that and Nintendo Switch. Also the fact that there is kind of like a royalty thing with Sony allowing cross-platform play, which some people are definitely not into, considering how other companies have at least in the forefront put it as open-ended. Also, the fact that Walmart was working on a cloud gaming service. Everybody wants that cloud gaming money for some reason. What a wild time to be alive. Hey, next up, this episode is brought to you by Raycon. We've been working with them for a while. They've been sponsoring our show because they believe that wireless earbuds should be affordable and not sacrifice on the quality. You've probably seen these online by now, endorsed by creators and celebrities alike, because they sound great and they fit nice and comfortably. Check them out. These are the the everyday E25 model. They have simple Bluetooth pairing, easy to set up, 6 hours of playtime, and then it charges with this cool little carrying case, which is my favorite part because it goes right in your pocket. Personally, summer's right around the corner, so if you are like me and sometimes you do stuff outside, they've been great for me when I exercise, I listen to podcasts, when I do boring like dad stuff like yard work. They're great to listen to some tunes. They're comfortable, they come in a bunch of cool colors, so if you want to check them out and it supports the show, you can go to the link on screen here. It's also in the description down below if you want to click it. It's buyraycon.com/Gameranx and you can get 15% off your order. That's buyraycon.com/Gameranx, and thanks to Raycon for sponsoring our videos. Next, we also got some Battlefield leaks. At the time of making this video, we might get a reveal today. We know officially that a reveal is coming soon. It looks like pretty much straight up modern Battlefield, which is very cool to see. But we've also gotten a couple of leaked images. I'll link in the description down below. Most notably, one shows a tornado, which if we have big Battlefield maps and we have tornado destruction, weather destruction, I'm in. They've messed with this a little bit in the past, but a tornado? Yeah. And also on the Xbox side, Microsoft has announced a whole big new slate of games getting FPS Boost. This is the thing where if you're playing on the next generation consoles, Xbox Series S or X, for a lot of backwards compatible games, you're going to be getting stuff like 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second in some examples, and it's very cool. The way I look at it, and the way I said this on, I think, Twitter or Instagram, I am someone who really loves PC gaming because I love going back and playing my old console games and experiencing them with better visual stuff, higher frame rates and stuff like that. So now it's almost like Xbox console people are starting to get that same experience. I think that's a win. Like I've been saying, though, just a wild couple of weeks for all the major players in video games, for real. Next up, in case you miss anything throughout the week, I want to link a bunch of trailers and videos down in the description and break them down for you guys. The first is a new trailer for Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. This is releasing June 10th. We got a big flashy trailer, and we know that it's going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive for at least 6 months now, I believe. So if you're still waiting to play it on PS4, I think that kind of sucks. Still, that aside, I'm very much looking forward to it as a big Final Fantasy in general fan. More of a fan of 8, but we'll talk about that another time. We've also got, and thanks to Brogan Mills on Twitter for showing this to me first before it blew up, a Batman 1989 fan game, a Tim Burton Batman film game project prototype, if you will. Unfortunately, it's been taken down. Warner Brothers took this thing down. So we're kind of only going to be able to show vague screenshots if we can even get that. I've been having trouble finding it. But I think they took it down because it's so damn good. It's not a complete playable game. It's really just environments and a Batman walking around an environment and some really great UI and menu design, but it is nothing short of shockingly awesome. The Michael Keaton Batman they created looks amazing. The Batcave looks great. That extremely iconic version of Gotham City, that main street set area they have built, is so cool. I'm sorry if like you can't see a lot of this in the video. It's because big companies are going to big company, but still props. I always say, man, when people love games and love comic book characters and movies, sometimes if you got a little bit of talent, the sky is the limit. We've also linked some new Biomutant gameplay. Game Informer and PC Gamer got some great stuff. We're really looking forward to this game here on Gameranx, so check it out. There's a lot of gameplay out there, character creation stuff, all the RPG systems. It's really cool to see what the deal is with this weird game that's been delayed forever. Also, Ubisoft announced kind of quietly, but they're making another Division, but it's going to be like a free-to-play game, kind of like a different thing, more accessible. I'm very curious to see what comes of this. I don't know if it's really going to be for me. I do like the Division. It's one of the few live service games I actually stuck with for a minute, but not a lot of details right now other than just like the buzzwords, so we'll link the blog post in the description. Oh, and it leaked, but it's also official now. Judgement is getting a sequel. It is called Lost Judgment, and it is basically a new Judgment game, same combat, all that type of stuff. I actually haven't really gotten into those, but I love the Yakuza games, which Sega has also announced that the Yakuza games going forward are going to have that turn-based combat. Okay, I like it, but no comment. My favorite thing in the world still is playing as Kiryu and kicking people's ass in the streets. But I digress. One last thing I want to touch on. It was a rumor from last week, and it kind of heated up a little bit again. This is the insider reports, the big rumors suggesting that NetherRealm Studios, the creators behind Mortal Kombat and Injustice, are working on a Marvel game, a Marvel fighting game. I hope so. Holy shit. Doesn't matter what you are. If you're like a DC fanboy, Marvel fanboy, I love it all. But there's nobody else who are this qualified. I think NetherRealm has done such a great job with the DC universe and telling those stories and representing those characters and pulling some deep cuts that I would love to see them do that with Marvel. Especially considering Marvel has shown now more and more that they're throwing out projects to different developers, different publishers. Also the fact that Ed Boon has been really kind of coy on Twitter, one of the leads behind Mortal Kombat since the beginning. He tweeted a random tweet saying like, wow, look at James Gunn and how he worked on a Marvel property and a DC property. Interesting. Like, he's really messing around. He likes to do that. I don't know how true this is, but I can't help but be excited. So I kind of wanted to leave this show on a hopeful note. What do you even think that could be like, honestly? What do you think about any of the stories that we talked about this week? The Sony lawsuit, the big class action lawsuit. Do you think it is justified? What do you think about all the weird leaks coming out of the Apple versus Epic thing? Of all the trailers and all the stuff I linked, what do you like the most? The Batman 89 thing. Did you see it? What do you think? If you managed to catch a glimpse of it. Also, if you do have a repost of it, we'd love to see it. Let's talk about this stuff down in the comments. Things get a little crazy though, as I always say, so if you want to yell at me directly, find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jake Baldino. We're going to be putting up a before you buy video for Resident Evil, and I'm also going to be putting up a Resident Evil extended video on my other channel, youtube.com/Jake Baldino. But thank you guys for coming here every Friday, getting a little caught up on the news. If it does legit help you, all we would like is if you click that like button. It legit helps us. We're stupid YouTubers. We beg for the click because it does help. So thank you. But if you are new, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell because we put out videos every single day. But I'm Jake Baldino. Catch me here every Friday. I never take a week off. Also on the Before You Buy videos. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Pizza's on me.